we are recording. You know how I know that? Because I actually pushed the button and I see that the timer is going up. Unlike the other time we recorded, and I totally screwed that up.
I don't remember that.
I remembered. Never gonna forget. Never forget, Bob. Hi, this is Tim. And with me as always is Bob.
Hi.
And as always, we are Precarious Pixels.
That'll be fun to listen to.
Yeah, this is me slamming the mic.
Why?
So it's like, why?
Do you want me to get closer?
No, I just want to make sure that it's picking you up.
Oh. Well, it's gonna have to buy me dinner first.
Yeah. I hear you're pretty cheap. I hear you're pretty cheap date.
Apparently.
Yep. So, we've seen some stuff this week. Yeah, people are going to love listening to us laughing at each other's
Enjoy that.
goofiness. So, yeah, we've seen some movies this week and some other stuff. Next week, we'll probably talk to you a little bit about The Division, because that'll be coming out.
Yes. Well, technically, half of it is already out. They have an Ultimate Edition, Tim, that released Tuesday.
Sure, it gets snooty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duh. Absolutely right. Duh. Of course.
That's the next
Who
line.
doesn't know about that early edition of Division?
That's how
Ultimate Edition?
I felt when we talk about that movie later. I felt like every reaction from that actress was duh.
Well, she is a 90s kid.
Duh, I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. But
well, Cha.
See, that would have been like, oh, Cha. Like, I would have totally been like, oh, Wayne's World, of course.
Yeah.
90s.
Swing.
See, if they would have gone back and then, like, that's how it could have ended. But it's like, let's do the, what was it, like the Scooby-Doo ending or something like that? I forgot the end of Wayne's World. They're like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and they go, yeah, that's right. Nobody's listening to this knows what I'm talking about.
No, I don't even remember that.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of remember it. I feel like Rob Lowe's under somebody's mask or something.
Yeah, I think it's like the Scooby-Doo ending. It's like basically they pull off the one guy's mask and it's somebody completely, like the janitor or something weird. Well, anyways.
Stupid movie. I'm just kidding. It was
fun.
Sorry, Mike Myers.
Yes. So The Division, we'll talk about that next week when we get... I'm sure Bob will get his hands on it. Are you into Division? Or?
Yeah, I like the first one.
Okay.
It was a great game for a month.
Okay. Until what came out?
No, nothing. It was just Ubisoft did this fun thing where, hey, when you have an MMO, basically, they don't call them MMOs, but that's what it is.
Okay.
You don't want to leave like major glitches unpatched, especially when you have PvP areas specifically dedicated to people being able to work together to get the end game gear.
Right.
But you can just have people glitch through walls and murder you. You can't shoot them, but they could shoot you and just steal all your stuff over and over and over. They didn't fix it for like 3 months.
I was going to say, did they ever patch it?
It took like forever.
Oh.
So that's what killed the Division 1. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Division 2. Well, Ubisoft has, I think it's like 8 teams working on this game.
Really?
Yeah, I think, what was it, last time we talked about them having, I think you talked with me about it, you thought they had like 3 teams?
Yeah.
They have like 50.
Oh, okay.
They have them all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that with like Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah, they have so many teams, it's ridiculous.
But, I mean, they are a pretty large company, and they put out like a pretty, like, they have a wide variety of stuff they put out, so.
Yeah. Just Dance.
Just Dance. I bet that team worked on The Division hardcore.
I bet you they did. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the teams works on Just Dance too.
Okay. All right. So next week we'll talk Division. Good, bad, glitchy, firing through wall things.
Yeah. Hopefully not that.
Yeah. But the first thing we want to talk about is a movie you saw, Fighting with My Family.
I did.
With little Nick Frost, Stephen Merchant, Vince Vaughn, The Rock.
Lena Headey.
Yep.
It was good.
Wow.
No,
wow, that's,
So what?
Shining endorsement.
Yeah, I used to a long time ago, back before any of the wrestlers that are in this movie existed
Right.
that I know of, aside from The Rock. I used to watch wrestling.
Right.
And not like religiously, and I didn't have like pay-per-view or anything like that. I would watch like Monday Night Raw every once in a while, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
So you were in like the Stone Cold era kind of
Yeah,
like stuff.
Stone Cold, Mankind.
Yeah.
I always thought Mankind was one of the most interesting guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Mick Foley.
Yes. He actually was like 10 different wrestlers.
Yeah.
He was like Cactus Jack and
Dude Love.
and I think there was like another one where he was just Mick Foley.
Probably.
And then also Mankind.
Yeah, with Sacco.
Sacco. Oh man. You remember the Rock and Sock?
Yeah, the Rock and Sock connection, man.
That's right.
But yeah, like I remember back then, and then this is the story of I guess a modern day wrestler named Paige, and how she got her start, how her family sort of came from nothing, and apparently it's all true for the most part.
Right.
And it's super uplifting and depressing, and it's just like it's just a great like sports film, even though it's not really.
I mean,
like
a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't consider wrestling a sport, even though the people in it have to be in amazing shape and very well trained to do what they do. I mean, it really is kind of like a very, very difficult. Well, they call it sports entertainment, and I think that's probably the best way you can explain it.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's like you have to be athletic as heck to do what they do.
Yeah.
But, it's just a really interesting story. Like her family came from nothing. Apparently, the story just with her parents alone. Her dad was a drug addict. Her mom was a drug addict, and they met and. They fell, like the dad fell for the mom, and then he made a vow that he was never going to do drugs again, and then wrestling became sort of his drug. And like, they together, and like the dad's out of shape, like he's clearly like he's Nick Frost, like he's a big fat guy.
Well, hey,
but he's
have you
so
seen
strong.
Nick Frost in the Badlands doing kung fu?
No.
Yeah, doing kung fu.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
That's that AMC show.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know he was on it.
Yeah, I think he joined in like one of the later seasons.
Okay.
Yeah. I've watched a couple. It's interesting. It's very action oriented show. Wish kind of like they had done Iron Fist more like this, but yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
But anyways.
But yeah, Nick Frost.
Yeah, and then he's trying to work to put food on the table for his family, and he has 3 kids actually.
Okay.
And the first boy gets turned down. Like he tries out for WWE and he gets turned down and turns to a life of crime, and he's in jail for most of the movie, so you don't even really see him.
Okay.
Until later. And then tryouts come to England again. The daughter, who ends up being Paige, and her brother go and try out, and he gets turned down, and she gets selected. She's the only one selected from those tryouts.
Okay.
And she goes to Florida, and then it's about how they cope with being apart, how she learns to grow as a person, how he sort of doesn't, and then eventually does. And it's really good, like a heartwarming family story and sports story, I would say.
Okay.
But it's good. I don't want to spoil everything, but it's a true story, so it doesn't really matter. Hey, she becomes a wrestler.
Yes. But the girl that they have to play Paige, has she been in anything else, or do you think
I don't recognize her, but I mean, most of the movie she's very goth, and that's not really a Hollywood style, so there's one point where she dyes her hair blonde and spray tans herself to try and fit in.
Okay.
It doesn't make a difference.
What, in Florida?
No, with the other female wrestlers, because she thinks part of her growing as a person is that she thinks the reason they're selected is because of their looks, when it's really because of the spark that they have, because of the talent, because of the drive.
Right.
And she just thinks she belongs there because she comes from a family of wrestlers.
Okay.
She's doing it her whole life, but that's not really the case.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds great. I think that sounds like a really interesting story.
Yeah. It's also like a rough PG-13. I wouldn't have thought they would have been able to say a lot of what they said in a PG-13 movie.
Oh, really?
I guess because it's British. I don't know.
Like British slang for like...
Yeah, a lot of British slang that you wouldn't expect.
Okay.
Maybe not the most family-oriented film for PG-13.
Okay. All right. But definitely worth checking out?
Yeah.
You'd say definitely?
Yeah, I would say watch it. It was probably the better of the movies that I saw this weekend.
Okay. No,
all around. I mean, one of them would have been even better had the trailers not spoiled everything for me.
Okay. What
about you? I heard you saw something.
Yes, I saw the Green Book, and it had just won for Best Picture, and which was funny because I think that weekend. I'm trying to think. When was the Oscars? Was it last week?
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago, okay. Because when I went and saw the Green Book, it was a full theater, so I was kind of expected to maybe drop off a little bit, but I guess people are now coming to check it out because it did win an Oscar.
I don't know why.
For what?
No, I don't know. I don't know why they went to the theaters.
Oh, okay.
The thing that boggles my mind, I guess, is the theater experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally out on DVD.
Well, yeah, the Green Book. You can pretty much download it now.
Well, you just walk into a store and buy it.
Yeah.
Why spend $40 to take your family to the movies? I don't.
And people like that, seen on the big screen.
It's fiscally irresponsible.
I don't know. We chose to fiscally irresponsible. I just like throwing my money around.
So we should rename this podcast
Dollar Bills.
Fiscally irresponsible.
Fiscally irresponsible. I totally agree with you. So we went to the theater to see Green Book. Has amazing actors in it.
One Carpathian.
One Vigo the Carpathian. And the other Ali.
The other Ali?
Yes.
So not G.
Right. Ali G. That's exactly right. I want to say I always pronounce his name wrong.
Mahershala, is it?
Mahershala Ali?
It looks like it's
I always say it wrong.
I bet you he doesn't go by his first name.
You think?
I think with Hollywood, like the way you meet people, you see him a couple times. I'd imagine he goes by like a nickname. Because like you work with people for like a few weeks and then you never see him again, and then you're working with the next set of people.
That's true.
Do you teach everybody how to pronounce your complicated name? Right?
Yeah.
Like I would imagine, like for instance, Taraji P. Henson. She probably goes by Taj.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably not true.
I don't know. No idea.
You know what? It's a tough name.
Call him Mr. Ali.
Mr. Ali G.
Mr. Ali G. But does an amazing job acting in this movie. He it looks like I've seen like he plays like a virtuoso pianist named Dr. Shirley. This is based off a true story, and I don't know how he does it, but I had heard that he had trained with the actual, I guess, composer that scored the movie. Like trained to play piano for like 3 hours a day, like every day, for I forget how many like weeks leading up to the actual movie, so he could play parts, like play the piano in the movie. And they do, like there's parts where he's playing the piano and it's not like one of those things where they're like not showing his hands. They show his hands and it looks like he's actually playing, and not like simple stuff, like complicated like Chopin, like stuff like that. And I was really impressed by that, because I was just like, you're not only memorizing your lines and that, but you actually have to learn piano to be on a level of virtuoso. It's very like well done. And I mean, I'm sure they had some parts where they probably substituted out where he wasn't playing and so forth. But the parts that they did show, I was really impressed with. So hats off to that dude. And then Viggo Mortensen gained a crap ton of weight. Like, there's literally a part in this movie where he takes a pizza. He's at a hotel room. He takes a pizza that has not been cut, rolls it up like a burrito, and just takes a bite out of one end. It disturbed me on a level, and yet made me so proud. I was just like, I've never seen somebody do that with a full pizza before. It's insane.
Why had the pizza not been cut?
I don't know. It was they were traveling through the South, so maybe
Southerners not believe in cutting
the pizza, or maybe he requested, "Don't bother cutting the pizza. I'm just going to roll it up and take a bite out of it."
Just a great big fat person.
Oh, there's many parts. There's literally a part where he bets a guy, a very very heavyweight man, way more than he is, that he can eat more hot dogs than he can in like an hour, and like bets him $50 to basically, because he's out of work at the moment. And he's trying to like do anything to like bring money home to his family. He eats like 26 hot dogs. It's insane.
Who pays for the hot dogs?
I think they did that I feel like some diner in New York. I think they live in the Bronx. I think that's where it starts out. So basically, Viggo Mortensen plays this guy who kind of has a little bit of a mob connection, but not really. Like he was like a bouncer at the Copa, and he's like told by his bosses, is like, hey, that last job you did, he got into a fight with some guy, and that guy was connected to some other mobster or something along those lines. It's like, so maybe you should take this other job to kind of like get out of the way for right now. But it's really interesting. Like Viggo is not exactly really into helping black people or whatever. He's not like, he's a little bit racist at the beginning of this, but it kind of builds a friendship. It's kind of like it's about these guys who not really like come from way different things. Like Viggo is very much a blue collar kind of guy. Dr. Shirley is very much like, he's very upper crust. He lives above Carnegie Hall, and plays concerts, of course, there and stuff like that. But like, he is a guy who also kind of wants to have that blue collar experience a little bit, and travel through the South to play for like concerts for these Southerners. I mean, he doesn't really have to do that, and it's an interesting story about like him kind of like seeing like the other parts of the country in a different way and so forth. It's a good movie. I really liked it. I think it definitely, I don't know if it deserved Best Picture, but it was definitely a great movie to watch. I won't spoil too much of what happens in it, but the friendship that they have is definitely an integral part of the story. It really shows what good character building, good story will really do. And since it is based off the true story, I believe it's one of Viggo Mortensen's characters, Tony. I'm going to say Pasquinelli.
Rocky Horror.
Yes, Pasquinelli. One of the sons is one of the people who helps write the story or whatever. But it was really good. I would definitely recommend it.
I'm trying to think what its competition was last year that was like really what
movie?
What do you think would have been Best Picture?
I'm trying to think whether it was
the year before it was easy, right? For me, it was Three Billboards from the beginning.
Yeah,
that movie's amazing.
Yeah, the movie is incredible.
But last year, I don't think there was anything that like really blew me away as a film. It was a lot of popcorn movies.
Yeah,
good popcorn movies.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm sure there was probably like a few like more art house kind of movies. I think there was a few in there.
I think it doesn't need to be art house to be a great movie.
No, I know, but I mean like in that style, like something that was like a very, very like amazing like movie like that. But I think Green Book I think there wasn't anybody at the end of that movie when I walked out of the theater that wasn't happy that they saw that movie. Like everybody, it was like they laughed at it. There's parts of people that were sad. It was, it was uplifting in different ways. Like it was I think a really good movie.
It's a solid movie.
It was a solid movie all around.
Okay.
And Viggo Mortensen obviously gained a lot of weight to be in it. I don't know how he did it, because he's usually kind of like a slender dude.
Yeah, I've seen way too much of Viggo Mortensen.
And what? Oh, yeah,
Eastern
Eastern
Promises.
Promises. I totally forgot about Eastern Promises. Yes, you do see a lot of Viggo Mortensen in that.
But yeah,
Well, let me tell you see a lot more of him
Yeah.
in the round sense.
He's a great actor though, and Ali G is also phenomenal.
Yes, he is.
I'm blanking on his name, like how to say it.
Yeah.
We both are. But yeah, I'll check it out eventually. It just wasn't. I don't know. It didn't like. I don't think I ever saw a trailer for it.
Maybe one.
I saw a
Like-
poster.
Yeah, I definitely saw a poster for it, and I don't know if I've ever like. I'm trying to think if I may have seen like any commercials for it. Not really.
Just kind of won a Best Picture.
Yeah. But it's also kind of like one of those movies, like Moonlight, which was a great movie, which won Best Picture, I think, as well. That was the year that they did.
Oh, did that win?
That won. Remember
It
that?
won over 3 billboards. That's right.
I don't think it won over 3 billboards. It was.
That was 2 years ago.
I think so.
You sure?
Because it was the one that they made the mistake on when they were like La La Land,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and it was actually the wrong thing. It was like, no, it's actually
Moonlight.
which is a good movie, and which he was in as well. Ali was in as well. He did a good job in that too.
I don't know.
He's a good actor. I really like his stuff. I kind of want to see his new his True Detective. I heard it was good.
Oh, he's on that.
Yeah, he's in this season because it's like I guess it's like anthology series is what they're going for. I heard like the last season wasn't great, but I didn't really watch that one. The first one was good, but
I feel like the first one starts out strong, and then it just kind of like you know where it's going from the minute that one character is introduced.
yeah, true.
And that anything like that always kind of bugs me. I
'Cause
feel like
it ruins the mystery, right?
yeah, it's the same like the thing. Going back to that movie, I'll be real quick. Hey, see Greta, but don't watch any trailers.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been the best movie this weekend had I not seen trailers. But I feel like they need to find a way to advertise a movie and what a movie is without spoiling. Same thing for a TV show.
Yeah,
Like, you can't give away what happens and then pretend it's a surprise 8 hours later on a show like that.
right.
Especially when the whole thing with True Detective season 1. Oh wow, we're really getting deep in this.
Yeah.
I'll be quick.
No, it's okay.
The whole thing is about a religion.
Yes.
And then you have this crazy, like, sort of stereotypical, like, I don't know, religious guy.
Yes.
And they introduce him, and it's just like, oh, wow, you're going for this guy right away, huh? Okay, well, he's the killer.
Yeah.
I'll see you in 8 hours.
Exactly.
And it's like, he's a guy. Like, he's a guy I've seen in 100 things. Like, he's one of those character guys.
Yeah.
He's not super famous, but you know him.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, it's like putting Stephen Root in Get Out.
Oh, okay.
It's a great example, right? Like, Stephen Root, oh, you're not disappearing.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a few hours. I don't know. Like, if you've seen Get Out, you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
But, same, right? Like, you're not going to put somebody like that on a screen for 30 seconds and not bring him back.
Exactly.
God, I wish I remembered that guy's name.
No, it's okay.
Anyway, we should talk about something else, though.
But it's true. But like something that I think they got right with not in True Detective, but another HBO show like Sharp Objects. That one, until there's almost kind of like a post-credit scene in that show, you don't know the whole story till the very end, and I appreciated that. Like my wife had read the book, so she knew the whole story. But for someone who had never read any of that and just knew the trailers that I had seen of the show, the mystery like held the whole way through, and it was really good. I appreciated that. Like you don't know who it is, and you're really like you have your suspicions, but like it really kind of keeps you guessing until like the very end, which I really liked.
Yeah, I can agree. I haven't watched it, but
You haven't watched it yet? It's good. Amy Adams kills it in them.
I think Amy Adams is great.
She's a great actress.
It's a shame.
Why?
She turned down, I guess, It's Chapter 2.
Oh, she did?
She looks just like that girl. That girl looks
She
just
does
like
look
her.
actually.
She's absolutely been that
It's
character.
it's absolutely true. She does look really close to that girl.
I don't even remember.
But I think it was just because she already plays, that girl plays the younger version of her in Sharp Objects.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that wasn't because of that, because it was made first.
Right.
Yeah. False.
We'll call her Nancy Drew from now on.
Yeah. Oh.
But
how do you come off that and go to Nancy Drew?
I don't know.
It's tough to be a kid actor, I guess, actress.
Or maybe she was just like, I like Nancy Drew.
You think?
Maybe. Emma Roberts was Nancy Drew.
I feel like she's 70 years too young to remember Nancy Drew.
They still make Nancy Drew books.
Do they? Or do they just reprint them?
No, they make newer ones too. I've definitely seen some newer ones.
Okay.
Emma Roberts was Nancy Drew?
Yeah, but who's Emma Roberts?
Emma Roberts? What are you talking about? American Horror Story? She's been in like a billion things.
You couldn't see it, but I just blankly shrugged at Tim.
Yes, there was definitely whatever.
I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess she's relevant.
No.
I mean, she was on that other. Was she Scream Queens?
She was on the Scream Queens. She definitely gets a lot of the mean girl roles, which I think is funny. But the first Nancy Drew had Bruce Willis in it.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't?
No.
I watched it for that reason alone.
I don't think I was the target market for the first Nancy Drew movie.
Totally.
Really?
Frank Miller used to illustrate stuff for Nancy Drew.
Yeah, that was before he...
No. He has like a weird love of Nancy Drew mysteries.
Okay. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I feel like you're trying to force your Nancy Drew love on me.
I'm trying. No, I guess you're more
Hardy Boys for life.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are you a Hardy Boys boy? They teamed up one time.
Yeah, I'm sure they did more than once.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
Back when Bruce Willis was John McClane, and not
he was still John McClane.
Not Nancy Drew.
He was still John McClane.
Did he have a gun?
It was actually. It's funny. He was shooting a detective movie. He plays himself basically, and Nancy Drew sneaks onto a set and acts like she's a consultant.
What is this movie? What is this movie that you're describing to me that's not Nancy Drew? Was it a mystery even?
It was. Of course it's a mystery. It's Nancy Drew.
Or was Harriet the Spy more a mystery than Nancy Drew?
Well, we won't even get into Harriet the Spy.
I wonder if they're going to remake that next.
No. Well, they're remaking Buffy.
Yeah, but that's not Harriet the Spy, right?
Well, she's in it.
I know, but it's not the same.
She plays the sister.
I know who Michelle Trachtenberg is.
I bet you do.
That's right. Steel Trap. If it's Buffy related, I know it. But
alright.
Speaking of female superheroes and how there was never one before then. You were saying?
Yes. So another movie we saw this weekend was Captain Marvel.
The first female superhero.
Nope.
Ever. No, that's, I mean,
are we talking...
It's the way we're advertising
legitimately?
Oh, I'm sorry. She's the
comics?
first Marvel superhero female, right? Oh, wait. No, that can't be right either.
First solo outing for a female superhero from Marvel.
Oh, that's how we're going to say it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Who's that girl that's married to Ben Affleck?
What?
Who's that girl that's married to Ben Affleck?
Oh, Jennifer Garner?
What does she do with Psy? I remember her carrying around two Psy.
Apparently gets stabbed with them.
Yeah. But I feel like I saw her doing that once in a film.
Yes.
What?
Was that a Fox film or was it a Marvel film? Was it a Marvel
Disney
film? I
believe there's a name on that before that Fox.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like they have to say...
And I believe that is no longer the Elektra that is in this universe.
I believe you can't just erase the past.
No,
Can we agree that you can't just erase the
past?
past?
No, not at all.
It might be a bad movie.
And let's be honest about this. Let's go with the Halle Berry Catwoman of it all.
That's DC though.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
But was Catwoman out before Elektra?
Yeah. No, Elektra was first.
Are you sure?
I would think so. I think Daredevil, Elektra, then Catwoman. Because I feel like Catwoman was the second horrible outing of a female superhero.
Well, it's also another thing that was like not taken from any of the comics. Like,
Well,
especially Catwoman.
See, Elektra was at
ridiculous.
least comic related.
It was, in a sense.
Catwoman's awful. Like Elektra wasn't so bad. I actually remember kind of enjoying it. Like, it
was
wasn't
okay.
great. It was stupid.
It
but
had some silly moments to it. But it wasn't too bad.
Also, whatever. I'm annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm annoyed by the way this movie was represented because I feel like it's intentionally divisive.
Okay.
I feel like saying, this is the first female superhero movie, and advertising it that way is just. I get where they're coming from, but I remember a movie 2 years ago
Yes.
that I liked more
Yes.
with a female superhero, and I've never had a problem with a female hero in a movie ever. As a matter of fact, some of the best movies have female heroes in them,
It's very true.
especially sci-fi.
Yes.
Can we say Alien, please?
Yes.
Or can we say Terminator 2?
Or Aliens.
Or Aliens?
Like Alien. Actually, Aliens, I think it was even better.
No.
Because that's when she was in the loader thing.
Well, that's
and
the one
was
where
like,
she's a badass.
Yes. And, yeah.
Yeah. I just think this was like, nobody's opposing you. I feel like they seem to want to have opposition to this.
I think they were trying to spark up a little bit of controversy, which I think
you think?
Yeah. Which, honestly, it can go either way and can kind of backfire on you a little bit. But it's so weird that they've had Scarlett Johansson in all these movies, and only now is she getting her own movie.
How about the fact that Scarlett Johansson has been in all these movies and is still the most heroic Black Widow?
Yes.
The ex-spy murderer
Yeah.
is the most heroic female superhero they have still.
In what way?
We talked about this before the podcast. But
Okay.
Captain Marvel is a thug.
Yeah.
She's a dumb thug. I
wait.
guess she's not dumb.
No, she's not dumb. She was misinformed. Because we're going to get into some spoiler territory.
She's
with this.
misinformed, and that's why
Yes.
she
And brainwashed.
steals property from stores
Yes.
and hijacks a guy's motorcycle just for hitting on her.
Right. Well, I think she just wanted to steal the motorcycle anyways.
But what about the clothes? Why did she steal the clothes, Tim?
That is true. She does steal the clothes. But honestly, I think that's more of just she wants to be in disguise. Like, to not
Also,
to blend in a little bit.
Can we talk about the fact...
Nope.
All right, this is going to be a quick one.
Okay.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves with that movie, is that scene right there. All of it.
Okay.
Guy pulls up to a mall, mini mall,
I guess, like strip mall.
strip mall, where for some reason there is a an internet shop, like whatever you call them.
Oh, internet cafe?
Internet cafe in '95, which I don't think was a thing.
They had them in certain places,
Okay.
but they were too far off from what I saw on that. I've seen ones that were like that.
Okay, so let's say they have that,
Okay.
and for some reason it's right next to a leather shop,
I guess.
because that's where she steals the clothes from.
Well, was it a leather shop or just a clothing store?
Or maybe it was a clothing store, but
think it was
everything
just
was
a clothing
leather
store.
outside it.
Okay, all right.
So it's
I
fine,
think-
right? This is a mini mall.
Okay.
Guy pulls up to her on a motorcycle,
Mhm.
dressed like a biker. Hits on her despite the fact that he can't see any of her because she's holding a gigantic map in front of her.
Right.
Says to her in green leather, like a leather outfit
What she's wearing.
she's wearing.
Right.
This is a biker.
Mhm.
Says to her, nice scuba suit.
Right.
As though he's never seen somebody, a biker, mind you, has never seen somebody dressed in leather before. A biker.
I don't want to say she's wearing leather.
It looks just like a leather suit.
No, it was more like she looked like she was in something like plastic. I don't think it looked very leatherish to me. If him saying scuba suit made more sense to me than what,
Fine.
All right.
And then he says, oh, come on, give me a smile. Bear in mind, she still has a giant map blocking her entire top half of her body. Okay?
Okay.
Can't see her at all.
Sure.
Give me a smile. And then he goes inside the clothing store, let's assume, which
Okay.
doesn't sell leather.
Or maybe he goes into the internet cafe.
No, he goes to the right.
Okay.
And she says, huh, shrugs, and steals his motorcycle and the clothes and takes off.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, Nick Fury immediately knows the bar she's going to after that. Yeah, think about it.
That is true.
And he's there by the time she gets there.
Is it? Well, it's a bar that she used to frequent, right?
But he wouldn't have known that.
No, he wouldn't have known that anyways. He doesn't know that her name, like she's Carol Danvers.
Right.
So I don't
She
know.
doesn't know her name.
That's true.
He doesn't even know that she used to, that she's not from this.
Right.
Well, actually, no. He knows at that point she's not from this planet because they've already encountered a dead Skrull.
Right.
This movie.
Yeah, there's some definite plot holes in this.
There's a few.
There's some leaps and stuff that I was just like, I kind of wish they had taken more some time with. But, I mean, there was some good stuff to it. I mean, actually, the parts I liked the most were her and Samuel L. Jackson, just doing stuff.
Yeah, they seemed like they had good.
They had good chemistry. And that was one of the things I did like in this. They didn't try to shove in a love interest kind of thing, which is a lot of movies they've done that. Not even with her and Jude Law, that maybe they were a love interest or something like that.
No, they didn't. I don't think she has an emotional connection in this entire movie.
Except for
Does she?
Well, except for her friend.
Which friend?
The friend that with the pilot.
Oh, when did they set that up? Or did they just tell you that she was a friend with that person?
Yeah, it's a whole thing with see, it's where it gets so weird that they kind of throw you in at the middle and not really give you the setup. I don't know. It definitely has some pros and cons. I have a list of pros and cons.
Yeah, I saw.
Yes. But that is there wasn't enough character development with the friends.
It's not enough character development, and there's a lot of plot holes.
Yeah, and it is kind of a thing they just well, we just kind of have to keep going through this story because we still have to introduce this character and where she's been and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And I'm just all right, I get that, but you're not really leaving a lot of time to get to know her, to get to know her relationship with her past friends, why she wanted to be a pilot, does she really love flying, all that stuff. There wasn't a lot of that. The only my favorite scene was her and Samuel L. Jackson talking to each other in the bar, talking about tell me something that only you would know or something like that, and Samuel L. Jackson says, if you cut a sandwich diagonally, I won't eat it. It's it has to be cut in half.
Yeah, but she does that to prove he's not a Skrull, right? And then after this conversation with him, believes he's not a Skrull.
Right.
Why?
Because they only have recent memories. They don't have long-term memories.
Right, but how does she know they're not fake memories?
That's true.
This movie, Tim.
I don't know.
There's
a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
She knows nothing about him, and
I
she
know.
just assumes she... It's almost like they wrote it... I said this earlier. I don't think I said this on the podcast, right? But it's like the writer had ADD. And just got distracted at the end of each thought.
Right.
And that was the movie. And nobody looked it over and said, hey, you know what? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's work on that. There was a first draft.
Yeah. Or this is something where it's one of those things where it's they had a lot of writers on it, and somebody could have written that scene in for one point, and then had something that introduced that earlier, and maybe they cut that out because they're well, we can't do that because we're not going to have enough time to shoot this part. But when you sacrifice those kind of things, it really kind of takes away from a movie.
When you humans sacrifice all those things.
Yes. There were some good stuff in this. There were some good parts to it. I like Goose the cat.
Yeah, that's
that's
all the reviews like that in advance.
Yeah, everybody loved the cat. And honestly, it was probably one of the better parts of this, but there's some, I don't know, of course, the Stan Lee stuff. Love that they put Stan at the beginning. had a little cameo with him there.
I like that too. I like that a lot.
Yes, you're giving me that look that means I
Well,
have
it's
some.
sad.
Yeah,
It's sad.
it was sad.
You know, I guess this is the last cameo he did.
As far as I know, unless he's got another one in the next Avengers,
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe.
Because this is well, I mean, he was already passed on when they made Spider-Man, or when they put it out, right?
Which Spider-Man?
The animated
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Yes, before, but he had actually. I believe they said he had seen it.
Okay.
He had seen it before it, like he passed.
I bet he loved that movie.
I bet he did.
That was a much better movie than this.
That was a much better movie than this.
I like to think that.
You like to think that was what
Yeah.
his last cameo?
Hey, you know who was a cool character in that movie?
Who?
Spider-Gwen.
Yes,
Yeah. She was also a female superhero, if I remember right.
she is.
Okay, just checking.
But it wasn't her movie.
I think it was all of their movie.
It was more Miles' movie. He had the bigger arc than
Right.
anybody else.
But she's the first superhero.
Oh, you want to say her? She's the first female superhero.
Well, according to the lore, she would have been the first superhero aside from Cap. This is 95.
That's true. Like Cap would have been the first, and then, yeah, she would have been the next one if they have that timeline.
Can we talk about how she's the reason for the Avengers?
That was kind of weird too, because then I was like, well, why does she call herself Captain Marvel? Why doesn't she call herself Captain Avenger? Her call sign is Avenger.
She doesn't ever call herself Captain Marvel.
No, well, except for no, she doesn't call herself Captain Marvel. But
For most of the movie, she's known as Verse or Veers.
Veers or whatever it is.
Veers.
Just like that ridiculousness.
You think that was one of those moments? I imagine that when people are writing a comic book movie, all right, we're going to go back to Blade with this.
Oh man, we're going back far.
There is a moment when they have something so stupid and they just can't see it, like when Wesley Snipes says, you know, some people are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah.
And what's his name? That writer on that, he directed it too. He wrote all the Batman Begins movies, Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Goyer.
David S. Goyer. Yeah. He was like, "That's going in the movie. That's the line. That's the line we need from our superhero." Like that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, somebody was like, I had another one. Oh, I'm blanking now. Oh, who's Barbara? Right? Who's Barbara in Batman v Superman?
Martha.
Martha. Who's Martha? That's it.
Okay, yeah.
That's, like, at the time, what's his name? The Watchmen director.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder was like, oh my god, this is mind-blowing. Both of their moms are Martha. Like, he thought that was the most important thing in that movie, right? He had to have thought, this is the moment. Like, this is the big connection. Nobody in 90 years of Superman lore, in 80 years of Batman lore, nobody connected that both of their moms were Martha. I'm gonna be the guy.
You know what? Nobody cared.
Nobody cared, right? And so I think when these people were writing this movie, they were like, nobody's going to understand Veers. Oh my god, it's half of a dog tag. But it was so important to them. Like, they thought, this is the moment. This is our moment. Somebody's going to have their mind blown halfway through this movie that only a third of her name was on that dog tag, and that was her name then.
Yeah.
How'd they even find that dog tag, Tim?
Well, it was blown apart.
Right, but how did they find that and not the other half?
That's what they grabbed at the time.
So why'd they name her that? And how did they read English?
That's true. Although they did have a lot of like weird devices that were able to, like, she put like something in from a scroll thing into her wrist thing, and it was able to read it. Like, she had like this wrist reader iPhone 12 thing that.
Yeah, but then it immediately corrupts.
It corrupts and like she blasts it out or whatever.
But how do they know that those symbols mean Veers? And
I don't know.
Whatever, dude. That movie.
Yeah.
It's a junk planet.
Which one?
Our planet, according to them, is a junk planet. Like, they think of it as nothing. They
Well,
call
yeah.
it something else.
Yes, they do, which I thought was kind of funny. But honestly, probably from where they are coming from, yeah.
So why would they have bothered to learn the language?
Well, they probably don't learn the language. Why?
Then how do they read it?
How does, like, in Guardians, like, everybody speaks English?
Right. Why?
Yeah, it's not like, I don't think it's like, nobody needs to take the time to go like, hey, we've got a universal translator that translates all this stuff.
Well, they said that in this movie. They felt the need to say that.
Right.
Is my universal translator working?
Right.
Like, why? I don't care.
Yeah.
Why does Thor speak English?
Well, yeah, why are they all from England? Why do they all have English
Why does
accents?
Heimdall help out in this one?
It's true. I don't know. It's
Because he was busy watching the Rainbow Bridge.
He was. But, but yeah, there was, I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of first movies which aren't the best movies in like a character's series. Like, honestly, the first Captain America, it's okay. Winter Soldier, 1,000 times better than that. It's honestly, I think that is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies is Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even with like Thor's, like the first Thor movie was okay. The second one was
That was
okay.
the one that was better for you? The second one?
No. The third, like Ragnarok, was the best one. And honestly, like amazing, well done movie.
Do you know why Ragnarok was so much better?
Because they actually had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there were moments in this movie where they were.
Yeah.
And then I would have enjoyed that a lot more.
Yeah. I think that they should have had a little bit more fun with this movie, and like it just like it needed like a few more things to it, maybe a little less on. I don't know.
She doesn't even discover her powers.
Yeah. It's so. I don't know.
Like, there is a scene where she's able to shoot little laser beams out of her wrist, and then the next thing you know, she's flying,
Yeah.
right? But how? Because the scene before that, she falls because she can't fly.
Yeah. And then she kind of figures it out.
But how?
It's like I don't know.
And what does she fly into? This is the part that I can't even get past this. Like with the thought process into this,
What?
she flies into punching through the bad guy's spaceship.
Right.
Literally punching.
Yeah.
How does she know that's going to work?
I don't know. It is kind of like one of those things that they don't know. Like they didn't like have like a scene where she kind of like tests out her limits and that stuff. I get that is like something that is in like every superhero movie, and maybe they just wanted to skip it this time.
You can't skip that because then you don't like her powers right now are infinite.
Yes.
She's able to fly. She beats the snot out of an entire military group.
Right.
She can live in space and breathe in space.
That's I think just because of the.
No, she's not wearing the mask at that time.
No, she's wearing the mask.
There is a scene where she's not wearing that mask and she's in space.
Which part?
When she's on the bad guy's ship
Okay.
before she falls,
Okay.
she's breathing and she's not wearing the mask.
But she could be in the lower atmosphere too, or the upper atmosphere.
Okay.
The stratosphere is pretty big.
I'm pretty sure you still would have problems breathing. You'd also be really cold.
Yes. But then again, that could be just the suit she's wearing.
Maybe.
Because it seems like those suits are made to go, like, all... Scuba diving or in
riding
space.
on a motorcycle.
Or in space or whatever.
Looks like leathers to me.
Yeah. Alright. But yeah, I just felt like this one needed a little bit more time to cook. They could have done...
Well, they needed it out before next month.
Right, of
Because
course.
next month is the big one. And they needed to set up that she's infinitely powerful.
Right. But I don't think that's such a great thing. I don't think even the character, Captain Marvel itself, is... She's not infinitely powerful. She can absorb energy and like redirect it and like that kind of stuff, and she can power up to a certain level. But I don't know if she's not quite Superman level, but I don't know.
In this, she's stronger than Superman.
Yeah.
She's so strong that she scares off what are they called?
The accusers.
The accusers.
Right.
Like Ronan.
Right.
The guy who's willing to go toe-to-toe with every Guardian of the Galaxy at once.
Yes.
But he's scared because she floats in the sky and she flies through a ship.
Yeah.
Another ship. She just punches through everything.
Yeah.
She's a thug.
She's a thug.
Just like Superman, she's a thug. There's no tactic.
When you're strong and invulnerable and you can blast people, yeah.
Maybe. But she's military trained.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? The military teaches you how to approach things tactically, even if you're in a fighter jet.
Yeah.
And her tactic is fly straight into everything with your fist.
Works every time.
It does.
It works every time.
Oh my god. Yeah, but the cat's cool.
Yes.
And the backstory, I love the backstory that they had for her. Just kidding, there wasn't much of one.
Yeah. I wish they had a little bit more of the backstory. But honestly...
You know, they avoided every Marvel trope. Actually, now that I think about it.
Which was?
What are the Marvel movie tropes? What are the problems that they have? Or what's the one consistent thing that always goes on that causes a problem for the next one? So, the consistent thing is they learn their powers, right?
Right.
They fight the bad guy and kill the bad guy. Every single time. Almost every single time.
Not with Loki.
Not with Loki. But he's not always the main bad guy.
True.
Right? So they kill Hela.
They kill Hela, but they didn't kill the Red Skull.
Yeah, they did.
No, because he's in Avengers.
That's not him though. He's dead, and then he comes back as like a different spirit thing.
No, he's not dead. He just gets teleported there.
Okay, so he gets teleported, right? Yeah. Almost everyone.
Right.
Let's say 17 out of 21.
Okay.
The villain.
They didn't kill Zemo.
What?
In the second.
Oh, in Civil War.
In Civil War, they didn't kill Zemo. He was the main villain.
You know what? You win.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I'm done.
Sorry, no. They didn't kill Thanos.
No, but they would have.
Yeah, that's true. They killed all those guys. I was actually kind of disappointed they killed all the Black Order.
Right, so they don't... Like, all she does is send Jude Law back on a ship.
Which I kind of like, that she doesn't kill him. I thought maybe when she blasted him, I was like, oh, Jude Law's dead.
And that's another thing, she's a thug.
He puts his gun down.
He's like,
he does put his gun away, and then
he's like, let's go toe to toe. Prove to me that you can fight me without your emotions getting in the way. He clearly has no advantage over her at all.
Yeah.
Zero advantage.
He really doesn't.
And she's just like, okay, and just blasts him into a wall.
Did she make that noise?
Yeah.
No, there's no reaction to any of that.
No, there's no emotion. Oh. Keep your emotions in check. That's what they tell her through the whole movie. And she never does.
No.
She doesn't learn a single thing except how to blast through things with your fist.
Yeah. The only thing I was really upset that they didn't do is actually show what the Supreme Intelligence looks like.
It looks like Annette Bening.
No, it doesn't.
With crazy green eyes.
It's creepier.
Well, they'll set that up for Captain Marvel 2.
Yes. Electric Boogaloo.
Captain Marvel 2, Cruise Control.
No. Captain Marvel 2, oh man, I can't think of what that second movie's going to be.
It's going to be honestly, her fighting a...
No, I think it'll be like...
Computer.
Well, maybe. But I imagine it's going to be her trying to find a world for the Skrulls before she gets called back.
I don't think they're even going to reintroduce this.
I really hope they do that. I really hope that that's the second movie, and it's about her trying to find a place for them to live.
Where'd she go for 25 years?
Trying to find a place to live. Takes a long time.
I guess.
Maybe she stayed there, helped them set up, their world or whatever.
And didn't age.
And didn't age. She's got the power. She's got the touch.
You don't even know what her powers are.
She's got the power.
Where's her great responsibility?
Oh, yes, because great power does come with responsibility. She was her responsibility.
She didn't learn a single lesson.
She did.
What lesson did she learn?
She learned, hey, don't judge those green people because they can change shape.
She never judged them. She just followed orders.
She's like, hey, our people are good. Those people are bad.
She didn't think that.
Yeah, she did.
No.
She said that Skrulls are like evil people. That they're fighting a war against them.
Yeah, they're fighting a war, but she's just a soldier.
Yeah.
Stop.
She's like, no, we're a race of noble heroes.
Oh.
Warrior heroes.
Oh, noble warrior heroes.
That's right, noble warrior heroes.
God.
The Kree. Which I knew that, I was like, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, this is total BS. That I knew immediately, like, oh, the Kree are bad. The Kree are definitely bad in this movie.
Whatever.
Alright, we'll see.
It was fine. Thug Captain Marvel.
Thug Captain Marvel. Alright. So we obviously have our opinion about this, but...
Yeah, Tim liked it.
I liked it, but not as much as I would have wanted to.
I
thought it would be better.
I was excited to watch this. I thought it could have been better. I had heard some negative things, and I tried to go in open-minded. But
I heard those things as well, and I kind of was like, well, maybe that's not completely true. And there were things that maybe were a little bit harsher criticisms, but to really sell me on a good movie, you have to have a good story. And this one just, like, it wasn't all the way there. But doesn't mean that I'm not going to go see the next Marvel movie or even the next Captain Marvel movie.
Even Superman kills the bad guy at the end of Man of Steel.
That made me so angry I want to throw a drink at the screen. We won't even bring up Man of Steel.
But
we won't. Hopping over the gas truck that just slams into a building and explodes.
Yeah, it was in his
could have totally stopped. He just
why would he?
Just throws that. Zod throws it at him. He does a little hop. He's like, oh, I don't care about this. People exploding in the building. That's why Batman punches him in the face. And then good thing their moms had the same first name. Oh,
let's call her Veers. Does that happen in the comics?
No, it's very different from what happened in the comics.
I knew that was a Hollywood guy.
It was kind of like that is kind of something. I was like, who came up with that? That's not
Sitting in a room, he's like, oh my god, let's call her Veers.
Yeah.
Typing it into a computer in case you can't tell.
But the reason, honestly, the only reason, and a lot of people have actually said this too, the only reason there is a Captain Marvel is because they want Miss Marvel.
What's Miss Marvel? It's not her?
Miss Marvel was her. Like, that's the whole thing of the character is she was Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel gave her powers by accident. She became Miss Marvel. She was Miss Marvel for the longest time. Then Captain Marvel dies. And then, well, there's a couple other things happen, but then she takes on the name Captain Marvel, eventually. But another hero, Kamala Khan, becomes the new Miss Marvel. And it's kind of like an interesting story because people love that character. And honestly, I've read, it's like she's kind of like the new Peter Parker of the Marvel Universe. She's like she lives in Jersey City, represent. And then...
You're from Jersey City all of a sudden?
I'm from Jersey City. No, I'm kidding. We're in New Jersey, so...
yeah.
Right. So we're going to go, but we'll catch you next time. As always, we're Precarious Pixels. You can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek.
I'm on Twitter at Martin, MARTON_Bob, and Instagram at BobJMartin.
And you can find us on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and leave us a review. Let us know what's going on.
And YouTube. Right. Bye, guys.
YouTube. All right. Bye.
I got you.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin, MARTON_BOB, on Twitter. And you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists like doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.